Hey, 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 everybody. It's your girl, Michelle, from Proverbs 31 WIP. That's Proverbs WIP, work in progress. That's me. I'm on, what's this, part 3 of the Cancer Free That's Me journey. So, thank you again for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. I'm so overwhelmed by the number of people who have subscribed in such a short period of time. Like I said, I have an assignment that I'm completing, and you all are helping me get there. But also, it was high time that I shared my testimony. So, thank you for joining me on this ride. And I think I have transitioned from a blog to a vlogger, but I still have some things that I want to blog about. But time, even though some of you may say, oh, we have a whole lot of time, but with a toddler and trying to work from home and make sure home is taken care of and all those things, sometimes you run out of time. But I definitely want to get back on board with my blogging. Um, so let's go ahead and get started with my part 3. Today, I just want to focus on just some of the things that I experienced, and I wanted to continue to encourage you all to really listen and take heed to this journey that I was on, and I actually am still on, regarding just the journey of life. But with the cancer, I mean, I can, pretty much say it with ease right now, but when I think about it, sometimes I'm just like, cancer? That was something that was in my vocabulary, was in my body, coming out of my mouth. Just to share, I was asking God, okay, what should my focus be? How should I, but he was just like, just tell them your journey, tell what's on your heart. So this is not scripted. This is just coming from my heart and coming from my memory. But I do remember just about every cancer commercial that could come on was coming on. And I don't remember that happening before. I remember seeing billboards. Most of you may know that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That was like illuminated for me, and I vaguely, and I'm being honest, I vaguely remember even hearing about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, let alone any breast cancer walk. And I'm not saying that I was just like ignored it, but I really do not remember, all of this. And it just seemed like every time I changed the channel, because I really didn't want to hear it, not taking anything away from anyone else dealing with it, whether it be breast cancer or any other cancer for that matter. It's definitely not something that I would wish upon my worst enemy. But I will say that it and this experience, as I've mentioned before, has made me stronger. So I wouldn't trade that aspect for anything. To be stronger, not just physically stronger as far as life is concerned, but definitely mentally and spiritually stronger. Most importantly, spiritually stronger. Because I thought I was at a point of, not that I was the most faithful person in the world, but I was just like, you know what, I got this faith thing down pat. I'm trusting God in the midst of different things that I experienced. And you have to read my blog to know some of the other things that I experienced. But this was just one of those things. And I know that some people were upset because they didn't know, or I didn't tell them, or I waited too long to tell them, and I'm not angry or like, upset at them for being upset at me, because I understand, when it's something as serious as cancer, some people are just like, you know what, how come you didn't tell me? I would have been praying for you, or, whatever the case may be. And I understand that. I really, really, truly do. I do want to share that I mentioned that, breast cancer didn't run in my family. And so that's why I say it just kind of caught me off guard. I can understand if it was something, blood pressure or something like that, because I had different, several people that dealing with high blood pressure. But I'll talk about how my blood pressure was affected, but not today. Um, I had a cousin, and this is on a serious note. I had a cousin, I'm not going to name any names, but I had a cousin that also had breast cancer. And right when I was going through, and I was just like, okay. And so God had me, praying and prayerful for this cousin of mine, and um, just thinking of her. And unfortunately, she passed away from breast cancer while I was going through mine. And not to sound selfish or anything, but just like with not needing to talk about it with everybody, not wanting to see commercials about it, not really, being very vocal about it while I was going through. Having a cousin, a first cousin, many of you know I was adopted, so if you didn't, you know now. And that's also in my blog. But so a blood first cousin, because I have first cousins in my family as well. And this is a whole nother story, but when you are adopted, you have family. That's what it's called. You have family. But it's just important for me to say regarding something that can be genetic, that this was a blood first cousin of mine that had breast cancer, and this was the first I've heard about it. As far as cancer running in the family, but she did not make it. And I mention that to say, imagine going through something and someone that's in your family. Now, I really didn't really get a chance to really know her that well. I had met her once, but it doesn't matter. It could be a perfect stranger. You don't want anyone passing away, let alone, passing away from something that you are currently dealing with and, trying to get through. So, of course, the mind, my pastor talks about, if the enemy can get in your mind, he has you. And that is so true, which is why I mentioned about the prayers, that I was reading, trying to keep my most holy faith at a level that it needed to be. I mean, I needed to keep my focus. I was still going to work. I still had to do and go through my daily routine. I was still working in ministry. I was still going to church. I'm trying to remember if I missed any church or if I missed any work. Now, of course, I had to go to my doctor's appointment. So yes, I did have to be out of work, but just to and I now to think about it, I did miss some days of work. Every now and then it was just too much, or just really, really super tired, which is one of the side effects of the medicine. So I do remember missing, but it wasn't, like a long period of time. It would be a day here, and then with the treatment, I would have to miss a day, because I wouldn't, because like I told you, I had to drive, about an hour, a little bit over an hour away. So anyway, I just want to focus on the fact that I had to, you have to stay focused. So today's video is about my journey and having to stay focused, even in the midst of everything that was going around. Life still has to go on. Life still went on. And I believe that that was another thing that I thank God for, that I was able to stay focused. If I had lost focus, I don't know what could have or would have happened. So I definitely want to encourage you, even in the midst of this plague, this COVID-19, this coronavirus, this pandemic, whatever name you want to refer to it as, stay focused. Even though you see A, B, and C all around you, whether you have a loved one that is dealing with it, a loved one or someone you know who has unfortunately passed away from it, hearing what's going on over here, over there on the news. We appreciate everyone. I want to say this before I forget, as we're staying focused, appreciate everyone who's still on the grind. And I don't mean, well, I don't know if I should say on the grind, but is out there serving, working in whatever your capacity, you know. I see it on Google all the time. We want to thank the medical professionals. We want to thank the people who are still working in restaurants, in your grocery stores, those who are still working with, delivering the mail, packages, all of those professions that are still out there working, and thankfully, they are able to work, especially for those who need and have to work. But I just want to say that I appreciate you. We appreciate you for all that you're doing. Even those who are entrepreneurs, this is their business. They can't stop working because that's how, bills are getting paid. Okay. I have that in my own household, you know. So we're being safe. We're following the law of the land, but we're also being safe, social distancing and all that. But this video, focus, stay focused even in the midst of all that's going on. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not. Please comment, please share with someone that you think would need to hear these videos. I'm not sure how many more videos I'll do in this journey, but I appreciate God for being with me on this journey, and I thank everyone that has been there with me, whether it been your thoughts or your prayers or your calls or your texts, and again, those of you who knew and those of you who did not, I still love you. But I had to stay focused, so the least amount of people that was involved and I told it was for the better. So please forgive me if your feelings, may have been hurt for me not sharing or telling, and that's just with me anyway. If you know me, I'm a private person, but I definitely needed to stay focused on this. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, remember, it's more than just makeup, it's a journey.